Do you think an aversion towards gurus amongst certain Western non-dual speakers could be linked morose to the guru worship, i.e. the guru is enlightened and I am a mere mortal that needs to awaken, thus leading to seeking to becoming, if you understand me? Also, it could be linked to the multiple cases of gurus abusing students, etc. Yeah, there is the problem of the abuse of gurus to students, but and I think that this is something that's really wise to speak about to understand narcissistic abuse, so it can be recognized. But I don't think that we should wipe out a whole culture because of that, and a whole spirituality because of that. I think the better thing is to educate people so they can understand narcissistic abuse, sociopaths, psychopaths, so they don't fall into the hypnosis of that. And then not wipe out a whole beautiful culture of spirituality. So I think that would be the wiser thing to do, is the education. And I think a bigger problem with the guru thing in the West is, so I think there's this, but I also think it's because of the individualistic mentality in the West. It's yeah, it's like a whole different setup as well. It's a very complex subject because it's an impossibility to regulate, unless we can test people's brains. How do we test if someone's had an awakening, or if they're being genuine, or if they're lying? It's like a really fine line, but from what I can see is, if people were educated in narcissistic abuse and sociopaths and psychopaths, then they would easily be able to see a pattern in the teacher. And this doesn't only happen, in gurus, this also happens in companies. It happens in relationships. It happens in family systems more often than we realize, that there is like one narcissist or one sociopath or psychopath, which is running the whole family dynamics, but in a very maybe covert way, which people don't notice. So it's it's happening all over the shop, this type of thing. It's not just subject to gurus, if you see what I mean. I'm personally not into gurus as such, and I'm not really into that, but I am into satsang and meeting in truth. And that is normally led by one teacher. That's and it's not, I don't think it could be a collaboration unless, it has to be the energy of freedom there to make it meeting in truth. And then you meet, and then there's a resonance that happens between everybody. But if you're collaborating with somebody that's really identified with their personhood, then it's, like 6 of the people that are, like it's a lead in the group are very identified with their person. I think it doesn't really work. So I think it's more about education as to what narcissistic abuse is, recognizing it in your families, because it will be there in most families. There will be a narcissist most of the time somewhere in the lineage of your family, and then there will be narcissistic abuse, and then the whole family adopting to that. It's so prevalent in our societies. It will be happening in a workplace. And then we're like, okay, let's eradicate teachers of non-dualities. I don't really like the word guru so much, but teachers, or the Indian tradition, because that will definitely eradicate the narcissists. And you're kind of like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You're throwing everything out in one go, which is problematic. Yeah. The thing is like how many, so also it could be linked to the multiple cases of gurus abusing students. But it's like yeah, it's a difficult one. I can't even begin to challenge that. It's a very difficult one. And I'm totally into recognizing that and understanding it and communicating about it. But it's also such a beautiful tradition. And it's really understood. This is coming from observation of behavior within the Tibetan Buddhist tradition of Dzogchen, from Dzogchen Buddhist here. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. But you know, for all the people that have abused their students, there's most probably like 5 that haven't. So you've got 1 and then 5. I think that they think in our society that every 6th person is a narcissist. Or sociopath or psychopath.